I'm British pianist, but my parents are from India, and I grew up in England. And currently I'm professor at Trinity College of Music in London, but obviously I travel a lot and play lots of concerts. I've just come back from Australia and Hong Kong, and next week I go to the Canaries to play some concerts, so this is a wonderful opportunity to come to North Africa. Well, sometimes I'm purely a lecturer and sometimes I'm purely a pianist, but a lot of the time I give lecture recitals, and so I will stand and talk for some time and discuss issues to do with the music and then sit down. In terms of the kind of music I play, I tend to play late romantic music, so the music of Liszt, the music of Bartók, of Busoni, of Enescu, people like this, particularly end of the 19th century into the 20th century. And so lots of various artists have been influential on me in developing my world in that area. I think the thing that separates them probably from many other artists is the fact that I will talk to my audience, because I know the music so much better than most people who are listening, and it's very hard to listen to music from the outside. And we do all these things that we expect people to know, but actually a lot of the time, because they haven't had the opportunity to study music and so on, they don't actually know what this means, what that means. And so there's no opportunity, even with the program note or the CD notes, to have a real in-depth understanding. So my mission is quite simply to bring the best music I can find to people, but to make sure that they understand it rather from the inside than from the outside. Obviously, our audiences are getting smaller in concert halls because there are so many things to do now. There's the DVDs at home, there's the internet. Of course, we have generally smaller audiences actually in concerts, but our audiences are getting bigger in terms of the radio, in terms of the internet, in terms of YouTube, and so we need to readjust ourselves. I have a YouTube channel, most of my colleagues have a YouTube channel, we all have Facebook pages. We need to address and engage with our audiences in a different way. Just as in the 19th century, when they invented the public concert, people started saying, well, we can't just sit in one city, we've got to start traveling. That's how concert musicians began. And so they changed the nature of their engagement with their audience. Okay, well, I mean, it's been a wonderful time. I've played maybe 70 concerts purely of Liszt, and it's all over the world. I think it'll be 4 continents in the end. And I'm having a wonderful time because, of course, remember, Liszt pretty much invented my job. There was no such thing as a traveling virtuoso pianist before Liszt. In fact, most of the things that we do today, for instance, pianists play from memory. We play sideways to the audience so they can see our profile and our hands. All of these things invented by Liszt. And really he codified how to play the piano. Well, I mean, of course Beethoven played it wonderfully, Mozart played it wonderfully, but the new instrument that was no longer in a drawing room, it was no longer inside a house, it was now in a concert hall, Liszt worked out how to play that. So to spend a year just playing, or not just, but mostly playing his music, has been so exciting. And this is music that is, of course, post-revolution in terms of the French Revolution. So very exciting, very revolutionary, very surprising at times. So it's been a great journey for me, as well as I hope my audiences. Okay, I've only been here a few days, so I haven't had a chance to really see. But of course, I've managed to get to the Conservatoire and the Institute, and it seems that there's a thriving culture of people who are interested in concerts. I was playing at the Palais de Baron-l'Élanger, and it was a great audience, and I played an all-Liszt program, and they were very, very interested by things I was saying and hopefully by what I was playing, and there were lots of questions afterwards. So I think it seems to be very, very alive as in other countries I've visited, so certainly. I was particularly keen to play some of the later works of Liszt. Lots of people know lots of the popular Liszt, the Liebestraum, some of the etudes, but after he retired from the concert platform, he was 37 at that age, the later works, the more religious works, I was keen to have those and present those. Those are slightly strange, in some ways the music of the future, or he thought so at the time, and it was quite an interesting challenge, I think, occasionally to my audiences, and they said, oh yeah, I think maybe it's still the music of the future, which is interesting 110 years later. So one of the great things about any era of revolution is that it gives the opportunity for great artistry, and it's, in my own research work, I'm always interested in the periods immediately after revolution. So I would say that this has got to be a very exciting time for art, because now people can absolutely find and express themselves in hopefully very different ways than other parts of the world, because it's a very different moment of culture and period. And so, you know, I suppose I would say I'm very interested to see the music, the art, all sorts of culture that is going to come out of this period. I would be fascinated. I mean, as I say, I've only been here a few days, but I've enjoyed myself so much. And indeed, a very dear friend of mine from America, Kimball Gallagher, comes sometimes and also works with some of the young artists here. And I know that he has a wonderful time here. So yes, I think it would be a wonderful idea to be able to come more frequently and engage more regularly with artists, and not just pianists, of course, the broader artists in Tunisia and Tunis, of course. For tonight's concert, obviously I'm in the ambassador's residence today, and it's a wonderful feeling because I'm actually playing a concert in the way it used to be played in the 19th century. The idea that a bunch of people would come together, not in a concert hall, but in a large salon, and that the artist would talk to them and know some of them and then play a bit, and there would be refreshments, I think is a wonderful way to listen to music. It is less antiseptic sometimes than listening in a big concert hall where you don't have a real relationship with the artist. So I'm very much looking forward to that. But actually, as it happens, it was the same kind of feeling at the Palais de Baron-l'Élanger. It was that feeling of intimacy, which is just so wonderful to have when one is creating art.